Good morning, dear students.
Good morning, sir.
How are you all?
Fine, sir.
Okay. So now we shall discuss communicative language teaching today. This is the last approach that you have in your syllabus. Prior to this, we have discussed five methods and approaches. We began with grammar translation method, and then we discussed the direct method, bilingual method, and audiolingual method, audiolingual, then situation language teaching, and today we are discussing communicative language teaching, which is popularly known as CLT. Well, if you wish, you may view these approaches and methods from the description box which is given below. Okay? Yes, this is communicative language teaching that we are discussing today. Communicative. What does the word communicate mean? Communicate. Yes.
To impart or exchange any information by speaking or writing or to any other medium.
Very nice, very nice. So you know, communication means to impart information or to exchange your ideas or your thoughts either in the written form or in the spoken form or by any other medium, as she said. Okay? Like even if you're expressing something through your body gestures, that is also communication. I think this is what you meant by other means?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we're talking about communicative approach. Language teaching, dear students, is based on view of language as communication. As we have discussed earlier, what is language? Language is speech. What is language? Language is communication. So language teaching is based on a point of view that language is communication. That means if you know communication, if you know to speak, if you know to communicate well in that language, in the target language, that means you know the language. Okay? That is, language is seen as a social tool that speakers use to make meaning. What are we doing when we are communicating with one another? Okay? Yes?
We are trying to make the other person understand what we are thinking or what we have as our point of view.
Very good. So, like speakers, communicate to make meaning. That means we wish ourselves to be understood. That's why we communicate. So, speakers communicate about something to someone for some purpose, either orally or in writing, as she pointed out. Now, this communication can be in the oral form or in the written form. The communicative approach in language teaching starts from a theory of language as communication. Okay? Earlier theories were not based on communication. The present theory that we're discussing is based on the theory of communication. The goal of language teaching is to develop communicative competence. This word is very important. Remember this phrase. This phrase will be repeated again and again. Okay, throughout the video, throughout the lecture, communicative competence, because this is the target of communicative language teaching. What is the target? What is the aim? To attain communicative competence. Okay, and this phrase communicative competence, I must say, was given by Hyams. Remember the name? Hyams. This is pronounced as Hyams. Okay? How will you? Like, this is how. Hyams. In 1972. Okay? In 1972, Hyams pointed out that to know a language means to attain communicative competence. Okay? Is that fine?
Yes.
Yes.
So, Hyams' theory of communicative competence was a definition of what a speaker needs to know in order to be communicatively competent in a speech community. Okay, means if you are communicatively competent, that means you know the language. Okay, so this was pointed out by Hyams, and this is an important aspect. Okay, an important component. to attain communicative competence is the aim of language teaching, communicative language teaching. Is that fine? I hope you understood now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, here I'm reminded of a sentence. How does Pride and Prejudice begin? You have read the novel by Jane Austen. Is a fact universally acknowledged? Is it not that a single man in want of fortune? The same way, I would say that it's a universally fact. It's a universal fact, or say it's a universally acknowledged fact that aim of the most of the teaching methods and approaches is to make the students able to communicate in the target language. Okay, this is the aim, this is the target, this is the motive of almost say all the approaches of English language teaching. I'm not talking about grammar translation method, but other methods and approaches as concerned, their target is to make students good at the spoken skill, to make them acquire communicative competence. Okay, therefore the communicative language teaching replaces the situational language teaching. Which approach did we discuss prior to this? Situational language teaching. Okay, we are moving in fact chronologically, right? This is the most latest approach, you may say. That's why we are discussing it at the end. Yeah, so I said that the CLT replaces SLT. CLT replaces SLT. What is CLT? Communicative language teaching. And it replaces SLT. What SLT? That is situational language teaching, which had been used to teach English as a second or foreign language. Prior to this, which approach was used to teach English as a foreign language? SLT was used. Situational language teaching was used. And this approach, SLT was considered as a major British approach till the 1960s. Right? That is why, I think you remember, it is said that it was popular between 1930 to 1960. Okay? So this was very popular till the 1960s. And what I said earlier, I'm saying it again, it doesn't mean at all that situational language teaching has become extinct now. No. It was not some species, okay, that it has become extinct. It is still followed, but it's not as popular as it was during these 3 decades. Okay, during these 3 decades it was popular. So after that time in 1960, it started losing its popularity. It started losing its currency because it could not develop communicative competence. Why did it become unpopular? Because it did not. Yes, come on.
It could not develop communicative competence.
Very good, because it could not develop communicative competence in the ESL learners. ESL learners. Who are ESL learners?
The second speakers of the English language.
Yeah. English. Yeah, second language. English as a second language. Okay, English as a second language. ESL means. You should know these abbreviations also because they are used. So it could not develop communicative competence in ESL learners. Right. Yes, what is communicative competence? What is it? Communicative competence?
To be able to communicate in the language with proper meaning.
With proper meaning,
proper
okay.
understanding.
Okay. Say with authority, the authority that you possess there in your mother tongue, if you can speak that, with that confidence, that means you attain or you possess communicative competence. So the focus of SLT, it became unpopular because the focus of SLT was on to teach the basic structures of language, right? Basic structures of language. Like patterns were taught, do you remember? And that too in a controlled manner. Liberty was not given to the students, to the learners of English language. Here in this approach, students have liberty. They have freedom. And here in the SLT approach, structures were taught, patterns were taught, and that too in a controlled manner. Okay? So in the 1970s, you may say, this is the kind of historical background that we are sharing with each other, right? So in the 1970s, the linguists, remember these linguists, they are very important. Wilkins, Widdowson, they're important names. Brumfitt, these are the names associated with CLT. Okay, these are the names associated with CLT, like Candlin. Okay, Wilkins, and mark the pronunciation also, the way they are pronounced. Wilkins, Widdowson, Brumfitt, his first name was Christopher Brumfitt, and Candlin, and then there was another linguist, Kate, okay, Kate. Kate Johnson. These are the names, I must say. Hyams referred to or cited in the context of communicative competence. Okay, and these are the names. They are also associated with communicative language teaching, and they were the ones who pointed out limitations of situation language teaching. Okay. And when did it all happen? In the 1970s, I must say. So in the 1970s, these linguists, okay, the ones I have mentioned, observed that the learners of ESL, that is non-native speakers, were able to write and read the sentences in the target language correctly. Non-native speakers could write well, could read well. However, they were not able to communicate in the target language. What was the limitation of the non-native speakers of English? Yes, come on, who were taught through situation language teaching, that they could read and write, but they could not communicate well in the target language. Okay, this was their limitation, and this limitation was pointed out by these linguists, you may say, around 1970s. Is it okay or not?
Yes, sir.
So what was the limitation of situation language teaching approach?
That they were not able to communicate in the target language.
Very good. That is, say, ESL learners were not able to communicate in the target language. They failed to communicate in the target language well. So it made them clear, these linguists, that to make the students able to communicate in the target language, it required more than mastering only the linguistic structures. This was giving emphasis on sentence patterns, linguistic structures. So mere learning the linguistic structures was not sufficient. Okay, this was observed by them, right? This was pointed out by them, by these linguists. So they said that it required something more. It required something more than learning merely linguistic structures. What are linguistic structures? Come on. Sentence patterns. Sentence patterns. What are sentence patterns? The same sentence, S plus V plus O. Okay, these are the sentence patterns. Because sentence patterns are just limited. You have transition sentence patterns and you have, yes, in transitional sentence patterns. Transitional and in transitional, do you remember? We discussed. So you have transitional sentence patterns and you have in transition sentence patterns, but they are very limited. Okay, so mere learning these structures would not give you communicative competence, would not improve your spoken skills. So this was felt by these linguists. It had been accepted by the linguists that to be able to communicate in the target language, communicative competence is required. What is required? They gave emphasis on communicative competence. This was pointed out by Hyams. So they came to the conclusion that to attain mastery in the English language, what is required? Communicative competence is required. Along with linguistic structures. Along with linguistic structures. SLT, that is situational language teaching, emphasized upon linguistic competence, that is linguistic structures, and this on the communicative competence. Say there are two kinds of competence. Remember, communicative competence and linguistic competence. Linguistic competence means if you know about the grammar of the language, okay, if you know about the sentence patterns of the language, that means you have linguistic competence. But mere linguistic competence is not sufficient. What is required along with it? And which is
communicative competence.
Communicative competence, very good. So this is what. Thus, there had been a shift, okay, a shift from the linguistic structures centered approach to communicative approach in the late 1970s or 1980s, you may say. 1970s, 1980s. So there was a shift from linguistic competence to communicative competence. Is that fine?
Yes, sir.
Prior to this, all the approaches and methods were giving emphasis or giving stress on the linguistic competence, but this was the approach which gave emphasis on communicative competence. And why did they come to this conclusion? They came to this conclusion. They said that after learning English language for so many years, the ESL learners were able to write correct sentences, were able to read well, you may say, but they were not able to communicate well. That is why this approach emerged in the year 1970s, or in that decade, you may say. Okay, so we may say resultantly CLT emerged as a new approach, in 1980s. And this approach still continues to be very popular approach with the teachers of English language. Although it developed, say, way back, say 4 decades earlier, 1980s. Or say after, you may say, it had emerged in 1970s, so you more than 4 decades. More than 4 decades. The approach is still popular. The communicative language approach is still popular. So the main aim, main target, main motive of CLT approach is to attain communicative competence. Remember this. Okay? If you remember this phrase, you know what communicative language teaching is. If somebody asks you, what is communicative language teaching? Say blindly that communicative language teaching is all about attaining communicative competence. Okay? If you know this, if you can give this, you can elaborate the answer. So this is the most important phrase. Besides communicative competence, you may say that it also emphasizes on interaction as a means to teach language. What? It emphasizes on interaction as a means to teach English language. Let me write them, okay, so that you remember. Just write them down, these names: Wilkinson, Widdowson, Christopher Brumfitt, Canlin, Keith, Johnson, okay, and Hymes, you may say, okay. These were the names. Hymes, okay, Hymes. So the main aim, there are two aims of communicative language teaching. There are two aims. Now you will be telling me, first aim is to attain communicative competence. Okay? What is the first aim?
To attain communicative competence.
Communicative competence. Good. And what is the second aim? What do they stress upon?
Interaction.
Interaction, very good. Okay, to be able to
Interact.
To be able to interact. In which language?
Target language.
In the target language. And which is the target language? The target language you are talking about? Which is the target language for us?
English.
English language. To be able to interact in the target language. In the target language. Okay, these are the two things. Remember these. In the target language. As far as your mother tongue is concerned, you possess communicative competence there, okay, and you also you are able to interact in your mother tongue quite well. Okay, you don't have to think. You don't make sentences there in your mind first. So if you can have the same competence even in the target language, that means you have attained communicative competence. So these are the two things that communicative language teaching aims at. Okay, stresses or say emphasizes upon communicative competence and to be able to interact in the target language, means on interaction. Because it happens that students are able to communicate there in the classroom, but when they move out of it, they become tongue-tied. They cannot communicate. Because I remember some students would say, we can read our textbook. If you give them something else to read, like the newspaper or some other book, they would say, no, I cannot read the newspaper. I cannot read this book. I can read only my textbook. That means you are not perfect at it. If you know reading, you can read any text under the sky. Okay, if you know that, if you know how to read English language. And if you know how to speak, it's not that you can speak only in the classroom and you cannot speak outside it. If you cannot speak outside the classroom, then we cannot say that you have communicative competence. Okay?